In a small village nestled between green hills in the village of Latak, a baby boy named Mun-no was born. The villagers rejoiced at his arrival, but their joy soon turned to worry. Mun-no was born Mun-no. The villagers whispered amongst themselves, unsure what to make of this unusual child. Some felt pity for him, imagining the challenges he would face. Others looked at him with fear, believing his difference to be a bad omen. Life was hard for Mun-no from the start. He couldn't play with the other children the way they played with each other. He couldn't run through the fields or climb trees. He felt like an outsider, separate and alone. As Mun-no grew up in his small village in Latak, his mind raced with curiosity. He longed to explore the world around him, but his lack of hands and feet held him back. He watched the other children play, their laughter echoing in his ears, a constant reminder of his own isolation. He often sat at the edge of the village, gazing up at the clouds, wondering about the world beyond. He felt a deep sadness in his heart, a sense of uselessness that weighed heavy on his young soul. "What good am I?" he would whisper to the wind, his voice filled with despair. "I cannot run, I cannot climb, I cannot even feed myself without hands and feet." One year, a terrible drought struck Latak. The rain stopped, the rivers dried up, and the crops withered in the fields. The villagers watched in fear as their source of life slowly disappeared. The wells ran dry, and the once fertile land turned to dust. The villagers, their faces etched with worry, gathered each day at the village square, hoping for a miracle. The elders held a council, desperately trying to find a solution. They sent young men to search for water, but they returned empty-handed. Hope began to dwindle with each passing day, but amidst this despair, Mun-no, the hero without hands and feet, remained resilient and determined to find a way. One scorching afternoon in Latak, as Mun-no, a man without hands and feet, sat under the shade of a withered tree, he noticed something peculiar. A tiny sprout had pushed its way through the cracked earth, reaching for the sky. He crawled closer, his heart filled with a sense of wonder. He had never seen a plant so small and fragile, yet so determined to live. It gave him a glimmer of hope. He remembered a story his grandmother used to tell him, a story about a magical spring hidden deep in the mountains of Latak. Could this be the answer to their prayers? Could he, Mun-no, be the one to find it? Section 5, Mun-no's ingenious plan. Mun-no, who had no hands and feet, knew he couldn't walk to the mountains, but he had an idea. He had spent countless hours observing the world around him, studying the way things worked. He had an idea, a plan that could save his village. He called the villagers together and shared his plan. He spoke of the spring in the mountains and proposed building a long pipeline made of bamboo to bring the water down to the village. The villagers listened intently, their skepticism slowly giving way to hope. Mun-no, despite having no hands and feet, had shown them a way. He had given them a chance. Inspired by Mun-no's intelligence and determination, the Latak villagers sprang into action. They gathered bamboo stalks and worked tirelessly day and night, cutting and connecting them to create a long pipeline. Men, women and children all contributed to the effort, their hearts united by a common goal. They had put aside their doubts and fears and placed their trust in the boy who had shown them the way. Mun-no, despite being without hands and feet, became the overseer of the project. He directed the villagers, offering encouragement and guidance, ensuring that every piece of bamboo was perfectly placed. After days of relentless work, the pipeline was complete. The villagers watched with bated breath as the first drops of water trickled down the bamboo and into the village. Cheers erupted as the trickle turned into a steady flow. The drought was over. The village was saved, and it was all thanks to Mun-no, the boy without hands and feet whom they thought was useless. He had shown them that true strength came not from physical ability, but from the power of the mind and the kindness of the heart. The village in Latak, once on the brink of despair, was now filled with the sweet sound of laughter and the joyous cries of children playing in the cool, refreshing water. From that day forward, Mun-no was no longer seen merely as the boy without hands and feet. He was their hero, their savior, despite his physical limitations. The villagers treated him with respect and admiration. recognizing the intelligence and courage that resided within him. Children flocked to him, eager to hear his stories and learn from his wisdom. He became a symbol of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides in us all. He taught them that true strength came not from physical prowess, but from the power of the mind and a heart filled with kindness and compassion. Mun-no's story is a reminder that true heroism comes in all shapes and sizes. It teaches us that limitations are self-imposed and that within each of us lies the potential for greatness. Like the tiny sprout that defied the drought, Mun-no's spirit blossomed in the face of adversity, despite being without hands and feet. He taught his village and all of us that it is not our physical abilities but the strength of our character that truly defines us. So the next time you doubt your own abilities, remember Mun-no, the boy without hands and feet who saved his village with his mind and his heart. Remember that true strength comes from within and that even the smallest among us can achieve extraordinary things.